Investment fraud is quickly becoming the most expensive scam, costing Americans billions in 2022. Louisiana, though a median in the rankings, is recording a growing number of fraud victims. The state is listed at number 35 for investment fraud loss. Lance McCardle, a securities litigation lawyer with Fishman Haygood LLP, gives us some tips on how to spot some scams. All right, so let's start with the basics. First, can you explain what investment fraud is?
Investment fraud is a pretty broad topic involving really any misrepresentation or suppression of truth in connection with the sale of an investment to a person. It can involve outright theft of your money or just getting you to buy something without telling you everything about it.
So when you think about scams, it seems like it would be pretty easy to spot, but what are the most common ways that Americans are running into investment fraudsters?
Well, I think kind of the hot topics nowadays are there's a lot of fraud in cryptocurrencies. There are real estate scams where someone's trying to sell you a share of a piece of real estate that either doesn't exist or cannot possibly generate the returns that they might promise you. There is a number of different ways of misconduct taking place in Americans' individual retirement accounts that they may have with a broker or financial advisor. And those types of things can range from just recommending someone an unsuitable investment or something that's not in your best interest, all the way to stealing money from your account. And there's lots of things in between, churning, buying and selling just to generate commissions, selling something to an elderly person that they don't possibly want or need just to generate commissions, things of that nature.
Now, suppose you are very unlucky and you find yourself in a situation where you know that you've been scammed. What do you do then?
I think the most important thing is you want to report it immediately. If the money was taken from your bank or an investment account, you want to notify those financial institutions. You want to notify the bank. You want to notify your brokerage. They may be able to trace the money. They may not be able to. You want to notify law enforcement. You want to start with the local police. You could try the FBI. You can report it to the Securities and Exchange Commission. You can report it to FINRA. And then after that, I would advise you to be the squeaky wheel. Continue to follow up with these agencies. They might get hundreds of calls a day. You want to make sure they're working on your case and trying to figure out what it is. Lastly, I would make sure you make a file, gather everything related to what you believe has been a fraudulent transaction. Bank statements, anything showing the transfer of funds, if you have canceled checks, a credit card receipt, tax returns, anything that might show it, particularly communications with the person who sold you the investment, and have all that ready to go for when you talk with a regulator, the law enforcement, or an attorney.
But what's the likelihood you'll actually get your money back? Is there any way to know?
No, unfortunately, there isn't a way to know.
There's no way to know.
The faster you act, the more people you can involve, the higher likelihood of getting it back. If an unscrupulous broker or financial advisor has sold you something while they were working for a firm, you may be able to recover that loss or a portion of that loss for the firm with which that person was working. So that's one avenue. But there are, unfortunately, many stories of money, vanishing in Eastern Europe or other locations.
All right, so you've given us some pretty good information. Is there anything else that you think that people should know?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that if you suffer these significant declines in your individual retirement account, that something, bad may have happened. If you, suffer a sudden loss, show it to someone. Show it to your CPA. Show it to your accountant. Show it to an attorney. Ask them if everything's above board. And if it's not, you can file what's called a FINRA arbitration proceeding, where it's like a proceeding in court, but you're filing a claim against either the broker or the firm with which he works for any of the misconduct that took place in your account.
All right. Well, thank you so much for giving us some tips and tricks. We appreciate you coming down.
Great. Thank you for having me.